lose fat is through having super rigid dieting strategies. And even worse, when you are losing fat, you feel like every time you go back to normal eating, you regain it all and sometimes even more. If so, you're in the right place. I'm going to talk with you today specifically about some of the implementation and the first steps that you can take, getting your mindset right and the strategies so that you can actually get fat loss that stays off, but even better, without all of the food avoidance and the rigidness and strictness that most people preach and tell you is necessary in order to lose fat. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And I'm going to be teaching you directly out of my Joyfully Fit University course, which is what my private clients get access to. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. We're talking about the fat loss cycle here. And one thing that I want to make sure that you understand and that you really get is that if you are not following up a fat loss phase with a metabolism restoration phase, and you're not focusing on a maintenance phase, there are three phases. If you're missing these, I can assure you, you are going to regain that body fat later down the line. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you're looking for a solution that allows you to lose fat without all the rigidness, and you're looking to do it in a way that the weight does not come back, okay? All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. So the very first thing that you want to keep in mind is planning and preparation, things that most people do not really think about. The reason why is because most of the time, people are in this state of, I've got to get weight off as quickly as possible. I feel miserable and I want to feel better. And I get that, and that's a great place to be that allows you to actually take action in the right direction. But if this is your only focus, get weight off as quickly as possible, you're going to overlook some absolutely important things that are going to prevent you from regaining that weight again, okay? So the very first thing is that we want to talk about planning your meals in advance. This is going to be crucial for sticking to your calorie goals, and calorie goals are going to be one of the foundational pieces. Doesn't mean that you need to count and track every single little bit of calorie, but if you have no clue how many calories you're burning and how many calories you're taking in, there's a good possibility you're going to be missing the mark. Now, when I talk about planning your meals, I'm not talking about the conventional status quo of Sunday meal prep with all the Tupperware and all that. My gosh, I used to dread that, and my clients I know dreaded it as well. I want to encourage you not to do that. But planning for us looks like actually having some meals set aside, making sure that you've got some proteins set aside and that are ready so that when you're on the go, you're not reaching for something or trying to prepare something that wasn't ready, okay? Another way to do this is by putting your food into MyFitnessPal long before the evening gets there so that you're not surprised when you go to eat a food and realize, oh my gosh, this is gonna put me over my calorie goals, okay? So one of the things that we teach is making sure that, again, you've got proteins ready. So we teach our clients to do things like taco seasoned beef and chicken, keeping those things ready in Tupperware. It only takes 30 minutes to throw that in an air fryer or something like that. And then you've got it set up and ready to go. Grab a tortilla, a little bit of cheese, and you've got a taco or a taco salad. You're good to go. And you didn't do that all day Sunday prep of cooking all your carbs and all that. It just sucks, okay? So we want to actually get something that really works in order for you to stay in alignment with what's going to bring you those fat loss results, okay? Now, the thing that you want to do is, like I mentioned, you want to have a few go-to meals that are ready for you when you're busy or you're feeling a little bit lazy or maybe even emotional to help resist any unplanned indulgences. That's why we want to make sure that throughout the day, you're typically eating a little bit lighter. If you're like me, where you want some night eating and you want some of those foods to be a little bit more delectable and enjoyable. So what we teach our clients is to make sure that, number one, you've got that meal set aside in your MyFitnessPal or whatever app you're using so that when you go to eat it, you know you've already budgeted for that amount of calories and all of that. The second thing is that when you eat like this throughout the day, you can eat lighter, and then that's going to save you more calories for the evening. What this means is that when you go to sit down for the evening after your long day, you don't have to tell yourself, well, great, now it's chicken and kale for me because I don't have enough room to have a slice of pizza or that burger that I was wanting all day, okay? This is why you want to plan and prepare. Now, one of the things I cannot stress enough is do not allow yourself to get hungry. I'm not talking about where you're ready to eat hungry. I'm talking about where you're noticing like, oh my gosh, I've been working all day, I've been stressed, and unfortunately I just didn't eat. And now I'm starving and I could eat anything in sight. That's what we don't want to do, okay? Now, another thing that I teach is that every bite counts, so make sure that you're accounting for everything you eat. Now, I've done this now going on 20 years professionally, and back in the day before all these apps and all this, which makes it so dang easy, you really have no excuse not to be tracking your food at least the first 6 months to a year while you're getting this process dialed in. What my old adage used to be for my clients was, if you bite it, you write it, okay? Now, the cool thing is you don't have to write anything. You can scan a barcode. You can input all these foods in just an app that's all with you. There really is no reason not to do this. It's nowhere near as tedious as it used to be. But if you really are serious about getting the results you want, you got to make sure that you're at least accounting for what you're eating, okay? Now, the next thing is that we want to make sure that you're navigating for these social and environmental challenges. This is what usually derails people. Lance, I do really good all throughout the week, and then I was invited to this barbecue, or I had to go to this wedding shower, and they had nothing there for me. That's what usually happens. So think of it is that the environment that you're in is going to play a major role in your adherence to your diet. So you want to surround yourself with supportive people who are going to understand that if you, first of all, reach out to them and ask them, hey, what do you have on the menu at this event that we're going to? They're going to be understanding if you say, hey, no problem, I can have a little bit of that, but you're going to see me bring a protein shake so that I'm at least hitting my macros while I'm there, okay? So that's a huge thing. It does not mean that you need to avoid anything, and you don't have to bring your food every time. It's just that if you know that there's not going to be anything there that fits in your macro or calorie budget, it is a good idea to bring something. It's just planning, okay? Now, if you're around people who don't support your efforts, you want to limit your exposure to them, okay? Fill yourself up with more positive interactions within your group. Now, we put our group here because in our Joyfully Fit 365 system, we have a full community that we hand select everybody that's in it to make sure that it is supportive people who all are going through similar things. They're wanting to get better. They're wanting to make a transformation. They're wanting it to last, okay? So if you don't have that, this is where you really want to make sure that you're finding some form of group or community. And if you need that, drop a comment below and let me know. We'll see what we can do to help you out. And we've also got a free community as well that you can be part of. But your surrounding makes a big, big difference for your adherence, okay? If you have people that are constantly around you saying, oh, but I made that for you, you don't want that food, and trying to make you feel guilty, this is somebody that clearly does not understand that you feel bad about yourself when you're eating all of these foods, and it leads to weight gain. And it's not about the foods that you're eating per se. It's about the fact that maybe this person doesn't get that when you're eating this food, it may not fit into your calorie or macro budget. A good idea is just to simply let those know that are close to you, hey, I love your food. I love what you prepare for me, and I love hanging out with you. But please understand that I'm battling some insecurities that are preventing me from living my best life, and I really need your support, not to pressure me to eat foods or to eat more than I've claimed that I wanted. That sounds good, right? That's what we do. That's how we get there, okay? Now, you don't have to cut anybody out. This is one of the biggest questions I've heard for 20 years, but it's my mom, it's my dad. I'm not telling you to cut them out, but you do want to spend less time around those who are either addicted to food or they're emotionally connected to food. Now, I've got members of my family who are like that as well, where it's like, I mean, just telling on myself, one of the big things that we used to do is get together for boxing matches or, UFC or different things like that. I'm not much of a sports guy outside of martial arts, but we would get together, and one of the first things that would be mentioned is, yeah, we're going to do this food and that food. It was more like the center of this hangout or get together was more focused on food rather than the company and what was going on. This is what I want to discourage, because when you're making the kind of the focal point of your hangout to be food, you are going to feel a little bit like that fear of missing out. If you show up not prepared with something else, you're going to want to eat that, or you're going to want to eat more than what you can, okay? So they're going to get you to throw caution to the wind if you don't at least explain to these people what's going on, and if you don't start with the right mindset. So just make sure that you explain that too. The next thing is that you want to spend less time around those who are negative about you reaching your goals, or they don't believe you can do it. Look, I've got past failures in my past. I'm sure you do as well. Nobody wants to be reminded of that you've tried 4, 5, 7, 10 diets and that they've not worked. Nobody wants to be reminded that you've had a business that didn't work or that you had a failed relationship. So what I would suggest is that if you have somebody that is negative and not supportive about your goals, again, spend a little bit less time around them, at least until you get some amazing wins and you can begin proving and showing them you're not the same person that you were. One thing I want you to know, though, is that your history is not your destiny. And chances are, is if you've not made it well in your, let's say, your fitness journey, it's not because you lack discipline, okay? It's most likely because you didn't have the right system. You tried to do it too rigidly. You tried to do it too quickly. You didn't have the right support. You didn't have enough accountability. I promise you, it is not your discipline that is the issue, okay? Be encouraged with that. Now, you are not the only one who has people who doubt your success, though. So don't let that turn into a pity party or ruin your chances of success. I cannot tell you how many people have succeeded in our program who didn't have not one single person supporting them outside of our group, okay? So keep that in mind, that where there's a will, there's a way. And when you have the right system, it doesn't matter who's in your corner as long as you have the right person in your corner. And that would be us if you need that help. So that's one huge thing. Now, I want to go over a couple different strategies for enhancing your cutting phase. Now, again, like I described at the beginning, you're going to have a cutting phase, which is your fat loss phase. You're going to have your metabolism restoration phase or reverse dieting and your maintenance phase, okay? Now, what I want you to know is that a lot of times, as soon as you get 4 or 5, 6 weeks into your cutting phase, you're going to notice a plateau or a perceived plateau. And what you need to know is that adjusting calories and exercise is your solution here. So to overcome plateaus, you want to consider slightly reducing your calorie intake or increasing your exercise volume. Either one will work. So for example, a small 5% reduction in calories or a similar increase of 5% increase in exercise can reignite your fat loss, okay? Very, very simple thing to do. Plateaus are actually not real. Most of the time when people go through plateaus, it's simply that they or their coach doesn't understand metabolic adaptation, or again, having any sort of adaptive thermogenesis, which is just simply where your body will slow down the metabolism basically to adapt to the reduced calories that you're taking in. It's nothing magical. It just happens, okay? So now, the other thing is that you want to focus on is not just calories. If you've done the calorie counting thing before and it didn't work for you, it felt too restrictive, whatever the reason was, you've got to make sure that you're focused on a balanced intake of proteins, carbs, and fats, not just reducing calories, okay? So it's about maintaining muscle mass while you're doing this, not just losing weight overall, okay? So, and we want to make sure that we're improving your overall health during that cutting phase. And a lot of times, I don't know if you've been here, but when I've tried to lose fat in the past, when I was doing it the wrong ways, I used to have people coming up and saying, "Oh my gosh, are you still working out? Are you sick? Is something going on?" And I've had a lot of clients say this too, where it's like, "Well, I lost weight before, but everybody kept on coming up asking if I was sick." Well, it's because you were most likely crashing your calories way too low. You were probably overdoing the exercise, or it was just simply enough that your body was just starving, okay? So we want to just keep these things in mind. Now, the other thing, again, is that you can increase what's known as your daily non-exercise activity, also known as NEAT, okay? And I'm not going to get into all of that, but simply increasing your daily steps and focusing on your non-workout activity can lead to more fat loss than your intense workouts, all right? So a lot of times people are like, "Well, I'm working out 3 times a week. I'm just so tired." You don't get it. We don't need to worry about that if that's where you're already feeling. We want to go for the low-hanging fruit. And that's either going to be calories at sometimes or macro balance, or in this scenario here, it's going to be increasing your daily steps. And you don't have to do this in some rigid way, okay? So if you want to know more about that, go ahead and click the link below and you can find out a little bit more about some of those steps that you can take in order to overcome these plateaus when you're in the cutting cycle, okay? So the other thing you need to keep in mind is that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, another way of putting that is your non-exercise activity, it's going to account for about 5 to 15% of your total metabolism, meaning how many calories you actually burn, whereas exercise activity is only about 4 or 5% total. So I'm not telling you to disregard exercise. It's very, very important. But if you're already working out, there may be a chance that you're just simply too sedentary when not during your workout or during your workout days. And this is a simple solution to fix that. So now, for workout guidelines in your cutting phase, this is something important. For strength and hypertrophy workouts, you really want to keep these workouts 40 to 60 minutes maximum. Now, my clients keep them right about 40 minutes, And that seems to work out really well. If your workouts are too long, you're going to dread them. And it's going to be one more reason for you to not show up to that workout on busy days or days where you just feel like you've been put through the ringer. And that's going to happen. Real life is going to occur regardless of what phase or what goals you have. So your workout also is not considered incomplete just because you didn't finish all of your sets or your reps within that maximum allotted time. What I mean by that is if I were to write up your workout and let's say that you get like, I don't know, 90%, maybe 85% of the way through it and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm at 40 minutes, it's done. You don't need to see this as, oh, I didn't finish my workout. Yeah, you did. You did all that you could in 40 minutes. You're done. That's okay. So what we like to do is use baby steps incrementally so that we start off on something good and doable that brings a little bit of results and progress. And then we gradually, very slowly, increase this so that you're basically, number one, building a habit. Number two, you're proving to your psyche that doing these things yields you results. And when you do that, because your brain is always looking to conserve energy and give you rewards and happiness and all of this stuff, you're going to feel like, wow, this little bit of work that I'm putting in feels really good. I'm getting results for it. That's going to make you want to do more effort. That's why we start small and increase gradually. And that's the idea, okay? Now, for your HIIT style workout, which is high intensity interval training. Now, you don't only need to think about this as high intensity. So what we teach also is that there is HIIT and there's MIT, okay? Moderate intensity interval training and high intensity. You don't only have to do high intensity. The interval or higher intensity is what we're looking for. Now, for this style of interval workouts, we want to keep this more to 20 to 35 minutes. In fact, most of my clients are actually 30 minutes and under. I don't have anybody working out longer than 30 minutes in my HIIT style programs for people that fits well in. Now, if you're new, what we normally say is, number one, don't go past 30 minutes. But number two, we actually start our clients out with just 15 minutes at 3 times a week. So 45 minutes maximum for the whole week to start getting results. Do you feel like you've done that before, where you've started off way too big and realized, oh my gosh, if I was doing a little bit lower or a little bit less, maybe I could get myself built up? If you've experienced that, this is why you want to start lower. You can work your way up. And again, I won't get into all the science on this, but my gosh, this will absolutely make your results so much better. And it's going to help you to adhere to the program much, much longer, which is what this is all about. So now for steady state cardio, very first thing is that most of my clients do not actually do steady state cardio or any cardio at all. It's not because it doesn't have any benefits, but most of my clients are super busy people and they don't want to put a lot of time on the cardio machines. They're bored with it. They've done it before. They don't want to do it, okay? But if you are going to do any cardio, remember around the 30 to 40 minute mark is where you want to aim for. And all this really is for is to create an energy deficit safely. So you don't want to just become a cardio bunny or, whatever a guy would be as far as a cardio zealot. We just want to make sure that you're doing things focused on, number one, is this sustainable? Number two, is it bringing results? Number three, is this enjoyable enough that I feel like I could do this without dreading life every day that this comes up, okay? That's the key. Now, workout guidelines. If you're doing HIIT cardio, which again is going to be more of the interval style, remember to start small. You don't need to do much more than 15 minutes on that beginning. You're going to probably see some decent results just from that if you are in a calorie deficit. Now, if you're lifting and you need to add additional cardio during this time, you want to start with small increments, okay? Everything do small. Test it, see how you respond to it, and only add in more when you're certain that what you're doing is, number one, bring your results, number two, sustainable, number three, it doesn't bring dread when you think about it or go to do it. So for example, 3 times a week, 15-minute HIIT cardio sessions each week. And when you need to add additional time, just start with 5 minutes to only one of those days or add one 15-minute day to the whole week, okay? Do not be overzealous. Overzealous does not lead to greater results. It leads to greater crash or greater burnout, all right? Or injury even more. Now, the maximum amount of HIIT cardio sessions that we do is 5 30-minute sessions. And I literally have not one person doing that maximum amount. So just be wise on how you add this. And again, you can see our full training in our Joyfully Fit University program. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, click the link below, and that'll give you a little bit more info as well. And you can also, too, I don't recommend that you start with HIIT cardio, but if you want access to that, drop me a comment and I'll send you that, something that I put together for my private clients. Okay, now informed decision making is one of the most crucial aspects of your fat loss journey. The reason why is because most of the people that I have communicated with in my 20 years, yes, I'm old, of doing this, is because most people will come up and they're just like, I just want to get this weight off as quickly as possible. I'm miserable. You've got to help me. And they're not really making informed decisions with that mentality. They're really just thinking, I'm on fire, put me out. That's it. So what we want to focus on is weekly averages. We don't want to become obsessed with the scale. So don't rely solely on daily weight measurements. It's going to screw you up. Instead, we want to use weekly averages to get a more accurate picture of your progress. So if you do weigh on the daily, you got to make sure that you take all 7 for the whole week, 7 of those weigh-ins, combine them and divide by 7 to give you your mean, your median, or your average, if you will, of what that weigh-in day was for the week. You need to know you will have high weigh days and low weigh days. This is not because you've done something wrong. It's just because your body never stays exactly at the same weight. There's too many variables. Didn't go to the bathroom, ate more carbs, drank more water, drank less water, got less sleep, more stress, harder workout. Every one of those is going to affect your water retention, which means your weight is going to fluctuate. Has nothing to do with your calorie intake or what you're burning, okay? So just make sure that you're keeping these things in mind and that you are making informed decision making. Now, the other thing is that you really want to put most of your emphasis on measuring body fat and circumferences. So you want to regularly measure your body fat and key body circumferences in order to track the changes that really matter for your body composition, not just weight. The reason why is because weight is not going to tell you if you've lost water weight. It's not going to tell you if you've lost lean body mass. It's not going to tell you what exactly you're losing, just that you've lost or stayed the same. And where this could be a challenge is a lot of our clients might end up gaining 2 or 3 pounds of lean body mass and losing 5 pounds of fat. And what that'll show up as is 1 or 2 pounds loss on the scale, significantly less than what they actually lost in fat. And if you only focus on the scale, you're going to think that you had a bad week or a bad month. Whereas if you focus on everything, you're going to see, well, I only lost 3 pounds on the scale, but when I factored in my body fat percentage and lean body mass, turns out I lost 7 pounds of actual body fat and gained, let's say, 3-4 pounds of lean body mass. Okay, now photos, how your clothes fit, inches, all of these things, that is going to be the most noticeable and important data to focus on. We are not doing weight loss if you're doing this permanently. We're doing permanent fat loss. Fat loss and weight loss are not the same. Weight loss means you can lose water. Weight loss means you can lose muscle. Weight loss means that you can be dehydrated. It's just all the things, okay? We don't want to go that route. That means that we add muscle to improve your total daily energy expenditure, also known as your metabolism, for more permanent results and a more enjoyable lifestyle. So for every pound of muscle that we put on you, first of all, you need to know muscle is smaller than fat in circumference. So if I help you to gain a pound of muscle compared to the pound of fat that you might have lost, that is going to be significantly smaller. So that means as I help you lose fat and gain muscle, your body frame will get smaller, not bulky, not thicker. So get that out of your mind that gaining muscle is going to make you bulky and thick. Honestly, the only reason that people ever look bulky, number one, because they are on some form of replacement hormones of some kind, meaning they're either on steroids or they're on something that is going to cause that. The second reason is because you're carrying still too much body fat while you're gaining muscle, meaning that we probably need to do more of a calorie deficit, okay? If that happens, yes, you're going to look puffy. You're going to feel puffy, all right? So when you have more muscle, your metabolism is faster, which means more calories, which means more food, which means more enjoyability, which means more sustainability, okay? Now, remember that it's all about enjoying life while you're seeing results. So you got to make sure that you stick with the strategies and you're going to be in control of your fitness journey indefinitely. But if you're always just flying by the seat of your pants and going, oh my gosh, I didn't lose enough, and then you just cut your calories or you just cut out carbs or start working out more, you're going to have some negative consequences you definitely don't want to suffer, okay? All right, so that is everything that I've got for you on this one today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, if you're watching this and you feel like, wow, this really resonated, number one, what I would love for you to do is if you've not done it already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button, which lets me know that I'm on the right track with helping you out, just like I do with my clients. And number two, if you'd like to know how to actually implement some of this and get a little bit more accountability, go ahead and drop a comment below or click one of the links. I'd love to chat with you a little bit about how, if and how I can help you to reach your goals better, faster, safer, and more permanently. So thanks so much for tuning in. Can't wait to show you the next one. I'm excited for where this channel is going, guys. And thank you so much for your support. It means the world. I will catch you guys on